Welcome back to my crochet channel. Today we are going to be learning more about crochet abbreviations and why we use them in written patterns. So let's head over to the desktop and see what crochet abbreviations are. See you soon! Hi guys, so I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of what crochet abbreviations are, and they are shorthand little symbols that you see in written patterns that designers and companies often use when they are creating new designs that are being sold in PDF format. So let's go ahead and go over a quick couple of points. Crochet abbreviations are a way to shorten a certain crochet stitch name inside a pattern. And so an example should be, let's say, the double crochet stitch. You sometimes don't want to write out the full name because it takes up a lot of space. So an abbreviated version of this is the C. And that saves a lot of space and it gives you more room for writing more instructions. So the second point is that many designers, publishers, and companies will use abbreviations when referring to crochet stitches. And these are for both standard for the US as well as the UK. So we are using the US standards, and this is what you will be seeing with the different abbreviations. Here are some of the normal crochet stitch abbreviations you may see within beginner written patterns, and the most common ones are CH, which is chain, DC, which is double crochet, HDC, which is half double crochet, SL, slip stitch, ST, stitch, and SC, which is single crochet. And you can look at some of these other abbreviations. For example, HDC means herringbone half double crochet, and BO, which means bobble stitch. Some of these written patterns will also have crochet action abbreviations, and that just shortens some of the longer words that are used when writing instructions. For example, BET means between, CON means continue, and LP means loop. You also have decrease, increase, repeat, skip, space, and yarn over. Finally, we have some of the common repeating shorthand that you will be using within written instructions, and they are asterisks and appendices, and I just show you that you need to repeat the instructions that have been listed before, and that also gives you more space for writing more instructions. So in a little bit, I'll just show you an example of what you can do with all of these different abbreviations. The advanced crochet abbreviations are what you will see in intermediate patterns, and these are the double crochet treble that you will sometimes see, and a lot of the less common stitches that are sometimes used when creating lace or when creating a more complicated pattern for different projects. Alrighty, so let's take a look at Jayda's stitches and see what she has in her workshop. So I have already typed in Jayda's stitches, and there she is. And she has a lot of free patterns that are written for new crocheters and people who just want to crochet for fun. So let's take a look here, and let's go down to the pattern workshop. Here we are. And then let's just scroll down. And for this purpose, we are just going to go ahead and go to the chevron stitch blanket. So the chevron stitch blanket is an excellent example of how we use abbreviations within patterns because everything is on one page. And as you can see, we have materials listed first, and then we have something called a stitch legend, which is right here. And as you can see, R is row, ST is stitch, and then in parentheses you have an S. Then you have CH, which means change, and CC, which is double crochet. And you will often see these stitches used because they are one of the most common stitches used within patterns. So if you look down here, you can see that this pattern is written entirely in crochet abbreviations. And so for row 1, you can see that the DC stands for double crochet. So we will read it like this. We will double crochet into the fourth chain from the hook, and then double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches, and then double crochet 3 together, then double crochet into the next 5 stitches. Once we've done that, we then would add 3 double crochets into the next stitch. And if you look closely, you can see that there are little asterisks right here and here. And that is the repeating pattern for the rest of this row. And you can clearly see in the next sentence that Jayda has written repeat from asterisk to asterisk across, ending 2 double crochets into the last stitch. And then once you're doing that, you just chain 3 and then turn. So that is how you will read a written pattern with shorthand abbreviations for crochet. And this is also very similar for knitting patterns as well. So I hope this clears things up a little bit, and just remember that if you do get confused, just go up to the stitch legend, which is right here. And a lot of patterns will also include a stitch lesson, which lists out all of the stitches that you would be using within the project. And another thing too is that authors like Jayda's stitches will sometimes include notes, which is also useful whenever you are doing a repeating pattern for a particular project like this. So I hope this helps, and this just gives you a deeper look at why we use shorthand or why we use crochet abbreviations. Hi guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all next week. Goodbye!